Hello students, good morning SJS. How are you all? Hope you are doing well during this lockdown. So now, once again I am here with another lesson from Flamingo, The Lost Spring. Before going towards the lesson, I would like to tell you something about the author, Anees Jung, who was born at Rourkela in 1964, and she was journalist and columnist in the major newspapers of India and abroad, whose most noted work, Unveiling India 1987, is a detailed chronicle of the lives of women in India, noted especially for the depiction of Muslim women behind the parda. This lesson is the lost spring. Actually, spring is the season of bloom. Spring is a metaphor of childhood and is associated with every child at the beginning of a bright future. Childhood is associated with innocence, physical strength, and vitality. It is also the stage for gaining skill, knowledge, going to school, and learning. Lost Spring by Anees Jung is a description of those poor children who are condemned to poverty and a life of exploitation. The two protagonists of the characters, Sahib-e-Alam and Mukesh, lose their childhood while carrying the burden of poverty and illiteracy. In their bleak stories of exploitation, the author finds glimpses of resilience and hope. This lesson is an excerpt from the Anees Jung's book entitled Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood. She analyzes the grinding poverty and traditions which torment the lives of innocent children, whether it is Sahib-e-Alam of Simapuri or Mukesh of Firozabad. Every child lives a life of misery and want. They share the same poverty, dirt, and exploitation. If we go towards our childhood, if we go back in our past, we find that our childhood was full of care, full of enthusiasm, where our parents are preparing lunch for us, where our teachers are taking care of each and everything regarding us. But these children don't have even sleepers in their food. This is the biggest problem. And narrator wants to tell us about the perpetual state of poverty where such children exist, whose childhood has been lost. So this story starts from authors visiting to a place where she meets Sahib every day. And Sahib is scrounging for gold in the garbage. He has come from Dhaka, Bangladesh, and he does not even remember his house. He does not go to school. There is no school in his surrounding. And when author sees him, notices him, she asks her name. And he tells his name is Sahib-e-Alam. This is the irony of this story. His name is Sahib-e-Alam and he doesn't even know what is the meaning of the name Sahib-e-Alam. Sahib-e-Alam means the Lord of Universe. But this Lord of Universe is barefooted, is wandering here and there on the streets and searching for gold in the garbage. There is not only Sahib, there are many other children. There is an army of barefooted children. And they cannot afford even a single shoe. This is a perpetual state of poverty and they are unable to afford a shoe. And affording a shoe is a dream come true for them. Some boys wear shoes, but these shoes they have got from some garbage and those both shoes are from different legs. So generally they remain shoeless. This is the tradition. They all live in Simapuri, and Simapuri is a place where all the rag pickers from Bangladesh have come and they live. They have been living here since 1971 and near about 10,000 families have been living in this system where there is in this area where there is no any drainage system, there is no any cleanliness, and they are forced to live. There is no any development, there is no house. These houses are, the roofs of these houses are made of tin and tarpaulin, and they are living life full of miseries. They don't even get 2 times meals in a day. They have ration card which enables them to get the food which enables them to vote. To vote means politicians use them as a vote banks, but they don't provide them identity. Women clothes are tattered, and survival here, survival means rag picking. they are dependent. They depend on rag picking, but this rag picking is having different meaning for them. The garbage is full of wonder for the children because sometimes they get a 10 rupee note, sometimes they get a silver coin, but for elders it has another meaning, that is livelihood. So garbage is wrapped in wonder for the children, but for elders it is means of livelihood. So narrator interacts with them. Narrator tells some incidents from before 30 years of her life, where she reminds us about a priest who always wanted a pair of shoes. After 30 years, when she visits, she finds her son wearing shoes. So having a shoes is a dream come true for them. One morning, she finds Sahib standing by the fence gate of a club, and two young men dressed in white are playing tennis. And she sees that Sahib is having shoes in his pocket, in his feet. So when she sees Sahib is having shoes on his feet, and she finds that these shoes don't match even his clothes. So, and these shoes have been discarded by some boy because of one hole in that. But for Sahib, it is a dream come true for them. So this is one incident. Another time when author meets Sahib-e-Alam, he is having a canister on his shoulder, and when she asks, he tells the narrator that he has started working in a tea shop and he has started getting 800 rupees and his meals. So he has changed his profession. He has lost his carefree look. He has lost his plastic bag, and now he has started working under some person, and he is not free now. The bag was his, but the canister belongs to somebody else. So now the narrator wants to tell us about this situation, that the bag was his own, plastic bag was his own, but canister belongs to somebody else, and now he has lost his carefree look from his face. She says that Sahib is not his own master now. Why he is not his own master now? Because earlier he was working according to him, but now he has to work under somebody. So this is the story about the Sahib. Now here is another story of Mukesh. Mukesh lives in Firozabad, which is the city of Bengals, and Mukesh's dreams is to be a motor mechanic. He will learn how to drive a car, but his dream looks like a mirage. What is mirage? Mirage is a kind of fallacy. You must have seen desert. When you go to desert, most of the persons search water there, but the glass particles present in the desert appear that water is somewhere, but when they reach there, they don't find water. Is another story about the deer, musk deer, which is searching always in the search of a fragrance, but the fragrance is found in his own neck. So this is kind of mirage, the desires which we are unable to find, which we are searching, but we are unable to fulfill those dreams. So narrator has tried to tell about the Mukesh, and she tries to also tells that Mukesh perhaps won't be able to fulfill his dream because his work is, he belongs to the family of Bengal making. Firozabad is a city which is famous for Bengal making. Every other family is engaged in Bengal making. It is the center of India's glass blowing industry. Families have spent generations making bangles for women, and Mukesh's family is among them. And not only Mukesh, 20,000 children work in the glass furnaces, and they are working here illegally. They lose their eyesight on high temperatures. They live in the stinking lanes. They are choked with the garbage. Their homes are hovels with crumbling walls. They have no windows. They are crowded with families of humans and animals. The elder of the family is a poor bangle maker, and this elder has failed to even renovate his house, nor has he been able to send his children to the school. Only he has been able to provide them food, and to teach them bangle making. Mukesh's grandmother has watched her own husband go blind with the dust from polishing the glass, but they cannot give up the God-given lineage. They think that they have been born in the family of bangle makers, and this is their fate. They cannot change it. In every other house, in every other street in the Firozabad, it is full of bangles. One can see bangles each and all of the colors, and it is piled everywhere. The young men are carrying it, and the bangle symbolizes the suhag of the Indian woman. It is the auspiciousness in the marriage. They are making, all children, all elders are involved in this business. But this is a mind-numbing job. They have to work in the dark rooms. And from many years, nothing has changed in Firozabad. Years of mind-numbing toil has killed the initiative of the young. They cannot organize themselves. If they want to do something against the middlemen, politicians, or cooperatives by whom they are being exploited, so they cannot do anything. There is no leader among them. There are two worlds. One is the world of bangle makers, and they are caught in a web of poverty. There is another world of money lenders, middlemen, and the policemen who fleece them. Mukesh's eyes are full of hope. He chooses to be different from others. He wants to be a motor mechanic. The narrator asks him if he dreams of flying an aeroplane. He simply says no, because he has convinced himself to a simple dream of being a motor mechanic. He is content to dream of cars and move down the streets of his town. And narrator gives an excuse because there are few planes which fly over the Firozabad. So this is the story about the two boys named Mukesh and Sahibe Alam. This story gives us the message Lost Spring shares two stories of stolen childhood. The characters and places are different, but the problem is same. Thousands of Sahibs and Mukesh are condemned to live a life of misery and exploitation. Grinding poverty and tradition compel children to work in the most inhuman and hostile conditions. The author succeeds in highlighting the plight of such unfortunate children. Now I'd like to tell you about the suitability and appropriateness of the title. This Lost Spring describes two stories of stolen childhood. Millions of children in India, instead of spending their days in schools and playgrounds, waste their childhood in rag picking or hazardous industries. Childhood is the spring of life, which is full of enthusiasm, but millions of unfortunate children like Sahib and Mukesh are wasting their spring either scrounging in the garbage dumps of Simapuri or welding glass bangles in the blast furnaces of Firozabad. Their childhood is lost to the demands of survival, hence this title is appropriate. So narrator Anees Jung has very beautifully described this story of these two boys, and hope you have understood this lesson very well. If there is any confusion, you can discuss and you can put your questions to me. So this is the most important thing, that about the childhood, about the spring of the life. Hope you have understood this lesson. Thank you and good luck to all of you.